Hey, what is up, people of the internet? Welcome back to another episode of the Waveform podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Marques.
I'm Andrew.
And David's not here today. This week he is out taking some beautiful pictures in Iceland.
Yeah.
So we'll just be Andrew and I for this episode. He'll be back. We're going to maybe try to get him in on the trivia questions if we can.
Somehow. We're going to try and do it live. If it's not live, then it was after. Because Iceland might not have the best service.
Yeah, I think the plan will be after we do our trivia, we'll FaceTime him or something and see what his answers would have been. Either way, we do have a lot to talk about this week, but it is sort of in the form of like a bunch of little tidbits. Nothing like gigantic, no major stories. By the time you see this podcast, we do have one particularly exciting video out that I want to talk about, but the rest is like, this is like a mega lightning round, basically.
Essentially, I realized I wrote down all these really fun headlines from this week, but none of them feel like more than 10 minutes of conversation. So
I have some thoughts and some hot takes, but we can...
I put all of them in a hat. Actually, it's like 6 headlines and 1 Marques rant in this hat that we will pick out of.
And you'll know which one's the rant when we get to it. But first, we should talk about the iPhone. We should talk about the OG iPhone. This was maybe the most spur-of-the-moment, ridiculous thing we've done in a long time. But it happened, and you guys, now that you're seeing this live, already know exactly what I'm talking about, which was...
Audio might be a little early. Audio might not know.
That's fair. Oh, don't know when the video is going to go live, but audio listeners might be getting a sneak peek at this. So, shh.
Quiet. Don't tell anyone.
Keep it quiet, or maybe get your articles ready now before the video comes out. But we did end up winning an auction for and unboxing an unopened, sealed 2007 first-gen iPhone. Now, that doesn't sound all that crazy until you really realize what that means, which is, okay, somebody back in 2007 had to have bought that phone, never even took it out the plastic wrap, and saved it and kept it in pristine condition for 16 years. As good, I mean, I say pristine condition.
Yeah.
Like, as good as it could be.
To be fair, the pristine aspect of it, it wasn't. The box had some dents. The plastic wrap had like a couple small rips, not enough to get anything out, but it was like dirty, which actually made me feel more confident that it was the real deal.
Its authenticity. Yeah, okay, so this was the challenge really of this entire project was, if you remember when we did the reviewing every single iPhone video, that was actually kind of a big challenge. You basically took this head on, which is like, we need to have a working version of every single iPhone that's ever been made to appropriately review it. And the further back you go, the harder that gets. Finding a working iPhone 7 was like not that hard. Working iPhone 6, plenty of them out there. Working iPhone 3GS, that's starting to get kind of tough. Most of them have stopped working. They've conked out. They've gotten beat up. Like people are just selling them for parts or whatever. You go all the way back to the original iPhone, and it was a genuine question of like, when we take this out the box, this is a 14-year-old phone at the time. Will it even work?
Yeah.
And we did manage to get some pretty beat up original iPhones, but that they'd still turn on and still work.
And could connect, because back then to activate a phone, you had to connect it to iTunes.
Right.
Or maybe not back then, but now like it has to connect to iTunes or it won't do anything.
Yeah. So these are phones that people had like used for a couple years and then moved on, but kept the phone. So they had software updates on them. They had probably iOS 3.0 or something like that by the time they retired, but they still worked. And so that I ended up, I think those were like $100 or something like that.
Also, to be fair, back then, that was a pain in the neck, but every Pixel or Google phone video is way harder.
Those
with
are all
the different Androids and all the different, oh my God, cable connectors. Although the iPhone one's the most I've ever used a 30 pin in my life. As someone who didn't own an iPhone or iPod, I never thought I'd use a 30 pin connector that often. They're terrible.
There's a reason they moved on pretty quick. But the fun story was like, this wasn't like any normal buying process. Like going on eBay and buying a $100 original iPhone is one thing. But if you want to go and find an unopened, sealed original iPhone, that's actually much more along the lines of like an antique, like a like a collector's item.
Yeah, for
basically. And so people are aiming to sort of like trade these like Pokemon cards. Like they don't really want to open them and use them. They just want to trade them and see what the value turns into someday.
And I really liked how you said it in the video that every time one of these gets sold, I guess it doesn't totally, but like it gets rarer and rarer.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like us and open it, because then it doesn't get sold again. And then there are less of them in the world. And
the value is even higher for the ones that are remaining, but lower for the ones that get opened. So here's the story of how it came to happen. I saw an article about how there was an unopened original iPhone. This is something that's been in the back of our heads for a while. We want to see what that experience would be like. There's an unopened original iPhone on an auction site, and the starting bid is $32,000.
Damn!
Now, that's a lot. That seems absurd.
It does.
But in very recent history, before this headline came up, the original iPhone had gone for a couple of record numbers. It had gone for like $40,000, $50,000, $60,000+ for an unopened original iPhone. And the air quotes problem with trying to buy an unopened original iPhone is they're so rare that people are willing to fake it to make that type of money. And so if you go on eBay and try to buy an unopened original iPhone and pay $50,000 for it, often you will see people getting scammed and buying used iPhones that have been like resealed, and you can actually re-shrink wrap a box. So if you have a good enough looking box, you can re-shrink wrap it, and maybe a collector will buy it and never open it, and he thinks he got what he was supposed to.
It happened to Everything Apple Pro. He has a video on it. I don't know how much he paid, but yeah, he opened it and the seal was all off.
As soon as he
all
opened
the
it.
accessories had no plastic on them, and he immediately realized.
The look on his face was like, oh, I got.
Yep.
And that happens to a lot of people who try this. So here's what made this one a little bit more interesting, is this isn't just like an auction site like eBay.com. This was, I think it's called Right Auction. And I clicked the article, and I didn't have any intentions of doing anything about it, but I clicked the link to the auction site. And it's like a live streaming, like a real in-person auction, like a guy with a gavel who's like, all right, $5,000 for the first item. Oh, $5,500 in the front row. We have $6,000 on the phone. All right, guy in the front row, you're bidding against someone on the phone. Do you have $7,000 from you? $8,500, and it just keeps going. And that's like happening on a live stream video. I was like, whoa, this is pretty intense. And one of the items in this like lineup that they had for that day was a sealed original iPhone.
Yeah, that was like X-rayed to show that everything was inside. Still doesn't necessarily prove that it's real. Like, we're not in the clear yet.
Yeah.
They could put all this stuff back in. It could be a different phone. It's hard to tell from an X-ray. It could have been opened. It could have been resealed, like you said. But yeah, there at least was X-ray of inside to show that everything was there.
There was something to it that felt a little more legit than just like eBay.
For sure.
Right.
Maybe the 20% seller's fee or whatever that gets tacked on top of whatever you pay.
So here's how it went. So the starting bid was $32,000.
Wait, can I back up one more second?
Oh, yeah.
I just think this is a funny part of the story. So on the website, it goes live at like 12. And I think you had to be home for like a plumber or something. So we're like, okay, it's starting at item number 200. The iPhone is item number 304.
Oh, no, it was starting in the 100s, and iPhone was 203.
Okay, so 100's 203. Oh, yeah, 203, you're right. So we see that as like, well, if they're going to take a couple minutes for each of these, you definitely have time to go home. We'll keep an eye on this here just in case. But like, you made the account, you have to make this bid.
Yep.
Go home and get home before you can do this. Yep. But like, the way it lines up on the bottom is you can only see the next kind of 10. So it's going through. They're
auctioning all kinds of weird stuff, lamps,
furniture,
old furniture. And by the way, they're going for like tens of thousands of dollars, like antique, super good condition old furniture. Can I get $10,000 on this stool in the front row? I'm like, whoa, this is pretty serious. I was actually driving, live streaming, just
you were like the audio. Yeah,
I was entertained by the audio of like, yes, this random stool just went for $8,000.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, I think I have plenty of time, and Jono just types in like the Slack. Well, also Jono's watching this because the first thing we thought of, how much are we willing to pay for this? And Jono, please find a sponsor for this video because we need to be able to pay for this. You'll find out if we did later or not.
Yeah.
And then Jono just goes, it's up way sooner than we thought. Apparently, it went from 1 to 150 and then immediately to 200.
Jumped to 200. So now at this point, I'm in the car, I'm driving. And the way they've listed it on the site is you can set a pre-start bid, and you can actually go up from there if you want. But the minimum bid was $32,000, and I made an account at the studio, signed up, put the shipping information in and everything, and I put in the bid for $32,000. And I thought that's a pretty good deal. But right underneath it says estimated $40,000 to $60,000.
Yeah, seller's fees.
And so every one of these auctions goes by, and immediately it like doubles in price, and it starts going way up from there. So I was like, we need a sponsor to be ready for this one. It jumps up to 200. I am nowhere near home. Now I see the UI on my phone, and there's like a little slider for every item where you can like bid online and participate. I haven't done that because I've been driving. But now that they just jumped up to 200, they're about to get to the iPhone while I'm driving, and I need to not lose this auction. If it goes up a little bit, I can be okay with it. So literally, I pull over. They do auction 201. They're like, here's a stool. $7,000, $7,500 in the front, $8,000. We've got $8,500 online, $9,000 in the front row. Going once, going twice, $9,000, $9,500. Oh, we got another $9,500. And they're doing that thing, and I'm like starting to get a little nervous. I'm like, okay, this is really happening. They get to 203. He pulls it up. All right, we've got this pristine condition, brand new, unopened iPhone original from lot 203. We have a starting online bid of $32,000. Going once. Going twice. Sold to the online bidder. Moving on. And it just was over. Immediately, it was just over. And I was like, I think I just won. I don't know what just happened, but I think that worked. It actually just went like for the lowest possible price.
I think the Slack message was pulled over on the side of the road. And then like 2 minutes later, easy.
Easy money. Easy. Jono, the sponsor, now knows exactly what we got to do. Yeah, that's really all that happened, and they just moved right on to the next lamp.
Yeah.
So we got it.
We did. I also have to say, you know, all those times we say like, Marques, what would you do if you weren't a tech reviewer? Auctioneer. You're made for it.
Really?
You seem to really enjoy doing the thing for all of the stories.
I was totally expecting you to mess it up too, and you didn't. You just
you haven't messed it up once.
$7,500,
Yeah.
$8,000 in the front.
So auctioneer. There we go.
It is pretty wild seeing the guy sort of like juggle all the things going on. There's like people on the phone, people in person, people online. So yeah, we won. My account won. Now I have to figure out how does this work?
How to get it here.
How to get it here.
That was the next fun part.
This isn't eBay. This auction house was in Chicago. And it turns out I had the shipping address for the studio here. And the options were actually, so if any of you have ever bought a $7,000 lamp on an auction site, you already know how this goes. But basically, they give you a couple quotes for shipping, and they will literally ship it to you. They'll ship a $40,000 unopened iPhone or whatever you bought. They'll ship it to you, or you can pick it up. We actually had Miles like around
going
Chicago,
home to Chicago.
like,
Yeah.
for the couple days after the auction, we were like, oh, maybe Miles can just like pick it up while he's there. It's the auction house in Chicago. And I was told, sure, you can do that if you want, but Chicago has a 10.25% city tax. And so if you want to do the pickup option, that will mean that the transaction happened in Chicago, which means we need to charge you $2,000 more to satisfy that city tax versus New Jersey's like 7% sales tax.
I'm just picturing Miles walking up with like a briefcase of 2,000, dropping it on the table.
2 rubber banded
Give me the
rolls.
iPhone.
That'll be mine.
Miles would have been perfect for that because he's jacked.
Yeah.
Like picture
Security built in.
Marques Brownlee's like associate comes to pick. It's like Miles in a suit with a briefcase.
That would have been kind of sick, actually. But it also would have been $2,000 extra.
Yes.
So instead, I got a shipping quote, and it was $1,800. And so we did that. And so literally the UPS guy who's dropped off like B&H packages and random stuff before, like comes to the door with a 40-pound wooden crate. And we're like, I think that's the iPhone. It was extremely well packaged.
You stood on top of it, which also scared me.
It was well packaged to the point where it was like
there's 1x4s in a box.
Yeah. They put it in a box, in a crate. And that crate was designed so that it could withstand the classic abuse that a normal delivery is susceptible to go through.
Big Raiders of the Lost Ark vibes.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. We got that power drill. We took it apart. We opened up the iPhone. We broke the seal. It had a special sticker that we are not sure. Actually, I do now have an answer.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
This is news to me.
This is
for anyone wondering, there's a red sticker on it that just says "Lucky You" and the white Apple logo on a red sticker.
Yeah.
I also thought it was very interesting that like that sticker could be sold right now, and there's 0 design language changes from 14 or 15
Apple
years
logo.
ago, whatever. It would fit perfectly now.
Yeah. Yeah, we have been able to confirm that was an Apple retail sticker that they put on some iPhones around the holiday season.
Around the holidays.
Yeah.
Cool.
So kind of a random fun fact that made it a little bit more rare technically, but didn't really mean anything. But This was the original iPhone, 8 gigs in the box. You can check out the full video for the full unboxing experience. I was kind of impressed and surprised by a couple things. The accessories that it came with, I didn't remember.
The dock is cool.
The dock that it came with. Here is the iPhone itself. It is in perfect condition, and it confirmed won't get past the iTunes screen because it's still on iOS 1.0.
Yeah, that kind of leads to like another fun part of this story that's not told in the video. I don't know if there's more you want to talk about the phone right now, or
No,
we want to jump into that.
I'll leave that for the video, but yeah.
So like, yeah, if you watch the video, it's us unboxing it, kind of all the things we were doing to make sure that it seemed like we didn't get duped, because like we said, an X-ray still could get duped. So everything seemed good. We decided we want to plug it into iTunes to try and get it to go. And I plug it in, and I get this error message that says, it says, the iTunes could not connect to the iPhone. GD Local's iPhone, because of an invalid response, was received from the device. And at first, I just thought, oh man, I'm going to have to like download an older iTunes to get this to work. We had the other ones in the past. I thought it would be no problem. Somehow I figured it out previously. And then I noticed that what it said GD Local 'S's iPhone, which is what Apple would do anytime that you're naming something. So like if you name the phone Marques, it would say Marques's iPhone. If you named it Ellis, it would say Ellis's iPhone. GD Local is a weird name, but doesn't, it still sounds different.
It's weird that it has a name already.
Right. And
yeah.
So we activated like an iPhone 3G or 3GS, and it came up as
just iPhone.
And then after we activated it, didn't it name itself
whatever the iTunes was? Yeah. So that felt red flaggish. Then we searched on Google. I mean, we had 4 or 5 people. You guys were searching GD Local on Google for hours,
just trying to figure out what it meant.
Yeah, like
literally
Apple,
like 3 hours probably.
Apple GD Local, because if this is some default name, I feel like it pops up on Google. I think the only search in 3 hours that we found was you found a forum post from 2020 of someone's Bluetooth keyboard being named GD
Local's keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that feels weird. Then Marques goes, wait, the guy's name is on the auction site of who bought this.
So the original person who did the appraisal and like brought it to the auction site, his initials were DG. And so that was a tiny red flag. I was like, wait a second. DG, his name had GD in it. And I was like, wait, what is GD Local exactly? So that's why we started Googling it frantically. I guess it's just a default name that they had. And when you had an old version of iTunes and this old phone that doesn't talk to it, like
that's not set up yet. Yeah.
Not set up yet. It just sort of defaults to GD Local, and we just found that out.
Did you find out anything more? You look like...
Yeah, so I have 3 theories.
Okay.
And I would like to put out an open call to anyone who's a developer who has either other things we can test or answers to some of these things. So theory 1, unfortunately, is we got duped. This is just like an iPhone that someone plugged into a computer and factory wiped.
To be fair, sick follow-up video if we got duped for $40,000 and get to return this. Just saying.
Option or theory number 2 is that at some point in the quality assurance process for a lot of Apple products, they have a test bench where they sort of mock activate devices. That test bench has the name GD Local, and this phone just did not get wiped properly for whatever reason.
Interesting.
Theory number 3, this is also I just want to say I did a bunch of research and found people kind of talking about Apple test bench stuff. And while I couldn't find any evidence of GD Local being the name of any Apple test equipment, when I asked ChatGPT what it thought, it suggested the test bench thing too.
I love that.
So that was pretty fun. And then number 3, the most tinfoil hat one ever is that there's a bunch of different graphics libraries from around like 2008 through 2010, none of which are called GD Local, but all have sort of like similar names.
Okay.
And there are other tinfoil hat people on the internet that, and I really hope I don't get this wrong, but that essentially like Apple was using OpenGL on the original iPhone and was thinking about switching to Core Graphics. And there was some maybe on this phone, they were testing a Core Graphics library that did not get taken off in the proper way before they decided to go with quartz in the end. Anyway, so if you are an Apple developer and the phrase GD local means anything to you,
Yeah.
because if it wasn't this guy's initials, I feel like we wouldn't have thought anything.
Yeah, it was
of
backwards
You
too,
know
so
what I
it was
mean?
like a little off. But
DG.
GD and
I
then
know.
DG just are way too similar.
But that's
when
like
you're spending
it's
40
such
grand.
it's such a computer name.
It's super.
you know what I mean?
It's super.
Yeah.
So-
DB, whatever local. I feel like the Lucky You sticker being confirmed a retail
Yes.
sticker is the strongest way of lending credence to this being original from an Apple store and never opened.
And in this process is another thing that I think helps confirm it is through everything I know we got those other old iPhones to work, but if all of them are at least on iOS 3, I believe with what I was looking up, the iPhone 1 and the iPhone 2G both were still using iOS 1, and from every single post, and these are recent posts of somehow people getting phones that should have iOS 1, nobody can activate them on iTunes. For whatever reason, there's some weird hack that barely works, but like it is basically impossible. And every single iTunes that I tried, I could not get this thing activated. And then one more thing that I think proves that it's on iOS 1 and not a further one like 3 is turning on all 3 old iPhones we have that aren't this one. The iTunes Connect screen shows a USB-A port into the iTunes, where this one shows a 30 pin
Yeah.
going into the iTunes logo. So they have to be on different iOSs. That's why I think this proves that this one is on 1.0 or whatever it shipped with, and we will just unfortunately not be able to power it on.
Yeah. This
I
is as far as
appreciate
we've
the
gotten.
one more thing reference. Good job.
Oh yeah, I was totally trying to do that. Yeah.
Well played. Well done. Well done. Yeah, no, this was a fun experience. This is now worth a lot less than when we bought it. Shout out to the video. If you watch it, you'll understand the lengths we went to get this. But we have it now.
What a bargain.
We got it. It was fun. It was definitely fun. We talked about this before. How this might be the most successful individual product ever. And so it's
Product
kind of
line,
it was
yeah.
like individual product from one company, and it's kind of cool to like go back in time a little bit and feel what that was like, because I actually never owned an original iPhone until we started like getting them late and reviewing them. I had later iPhones. I had the LG Voyager like a couple years after the original iPhone, so this was fun for me.
I do like the fact that the dock, despite the iPhone having a headphone jack on the top of it that wouldn't get covered by the dock also has a headphone jack.
It's a nice this would be like an alarm clock type thing.
Yeah.
Because when it first came out and this was in there, you could pop the iPhone onto this. It would be your alarm clock.
Yeah.
And then you could plug it into some nice speakers, which would be cool.
If you really are a heavy sleeper, I
You
guess.
could listen to
But yeah.
some loud alarm music.
Remember when Apple enjoyed open standards? Good
Well, I
times.
was just going to say, Apple killed the headphone jack, but also at one point had 2 of them, basically. So,
One on the phone, one on the bottom.
Here
Because
we
it would be
go.
weird to come out the top of the iPhone. So,
I guess.
Apple wouldn't want to do
There we
anything
go.
weird like a dongle or anything like that. That's very un-Apple like. That's pretty much it. It retailed like $5.99 when it came out. Nice little value increase. I don't know if they're going to go up even higher in value. If it does, I will feel like I got a deal. I think that's where we'll go to trivia. So I feel like pretty good about myself, but that was our week this week.
Trivia question 1. How much did Marques lose based on
What
the ad rates
percent-
of the
How
video?
bad did I get fleeced this time?
Trivia.
There it is.
Okay, so Marques, $32,000 is a lot of money to pay for an old iPhone.
I agree.
What was the final price of the most expensive Apple product ever sold at auction?
At auction.
And because it's me, we're doing Price is Right rules. Closest
That
without
helps.
going over.
That helps a lot. Okay.
David looks stumped.
David's sweating.
blank
right now.
face. Blank face from David.
Stone cold.
We love it. I have a hint, but I don't know if I'm right. We'll be back.
All right, welcome back. I came up with the idea of putting all these different tech headlines into the hat to pick out, and then just like Marques always does, one-upped me in the break and called it Headline in a Hat.
I just named it.
It's
I just thought it was a cool
fantastic.
name.
This will be a permanent segment on the
Headline and
Waveform
a hat.
podcast from now on.
Do you want me to pick it out, the hat?
Yeah, let
So
me give
you-
it a nice shake, a little
Yeah.
ASMR shake here.
Headline roulette. First one. Headline reads Spotify redesign.
Yes. Okay.
Oh boy.
This is my rant, actually.
So you showed
Maybe.
me Spotify on your phone. It looks way different from my phone.
I do want to ask you all. Yours does not show. Have any of you guys gotten the Spotify redesign yet?
When you say Spotify redesign, what are you talking about?
The entire front,
The homepage.
almost the entire front page is totally different.
That's the way it should look. The way yours looks. and mine
Okay,
looks.
so if everyone is on Spotify right now or uses Spotify, we're all used to, I think everyone right now shows, it says like good morning, has 6 of like your latest artists or songs that you've listened to, right?
Yep.
Mine still has that.
Playlists.
When you scroll down, what do you see? Like a side scrolling curated playlist, maybe artists you used to listen to, maybe some podcasts that are new. Mine, when I scroll down, I have one giant picture
Jesus Christ.
of one artist. And then I scroll down. Another singular picture of an
Why is
album.
everything TikTok?
Now.
Is this the,
And they're all videos.
Wait, did you click the music tab on the top?
No.
Because when I click
Nope.
music, it turns into that.
Nope, this is just my homepage. I still have music, podcast, audiobooks on top.
Interesting.
So now, as I scroll down, an entire page is one suggestion.
That's way too much space.
You can't even scroll sideways. It does look like it's a little like ticker, like a
Like a timeline?
different stories almost. But I can. I don't even know what this is doing.
So if you tap on like the right side of the image, it'll skip to like a different part of the song, basically, or to the next.
No, I think a different
recommendation?
song. But when I do it, it just kind of goes to the next one, then doesn't go anywhere, and then goes back. Do you see this messing up right
It
now?
doesn't look like it's working.
It's just Miley Cyrus. Just
It's like a normal vertical feed is sort of like one of those conveyor belt sushi restaurants. It works really well because the food's coming at you at a high flow rate, but they're small pieces, so you get to pick one up and eat it.
Yeah.
This is like conveyor belt roast beef.
Just gigantic pieces.
It's just like one, because a song can be like 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense to have it streaming at you in this like endless flick space.
I would assume that if I started playing a song there, it would do its normal Spotify, like I'll continue playing similar artists to this. But like, I'm one of those people who listens to music like a high schooler who I find 3 bands I'm in love with, and I only listen to those 3 bands for like 2 months. So by the time I need to get those bands out of my head, I need some suggestions. And I cannot scroll down to one song suggestion to get me out of this funk that I'm in. I love Spotify curated playlists are incredible. I love them so much. I think they're fantastic. I don't have those anymore. Or they're somewhere that I can't find. And I think this is the worst redesign.
You know what this is? This is the TikTokification of Spotify.
I was gonna say like Instagram. It feels like scrolling Instagram feed, just one picture.
So the reason I say TikTok is because not only is it like trying to give you like one piece at a time, but also now like TikTok has so much of an influence over like what blows up in music and what is actually like trending and hits Billboard and like is useful in music, that like people design their songs to have hooks and parts of their song that will be used on TikTok. And I feel like what they're doing is like surfacing just that part of the song. Like that's
I'm almost wondering. I didn't have my volume on. Would it start playing?
potentially it's going to fast forward you to just the hook or the chorus. And it's just like your
all
attention span is so short. I just want to fast forward you to the TikTok part of the song. That's why I say TikTok.
It's
And
funny
that's
because
brutal.
now this first one is even a podcast because other people who listen to this podcast, which I don't think Spotify used to really do.
I was going to say they rolled this out like maybe a month ago for podcasts. And I found it really helpful, actually. I really liked it because you would scroll vertically through podcasts and it'll give you like 10-second segments of the conversation so you can
Is it
like
just
get a
the
feel
middle?
for it. I don't think so. I think it was like random parts or maybe like most
They should make a
replayed, something
discovery
like
page.
that.
Make a discovery page. Don't make it my homepage. Like my homepage is I'm in the car. I turned my. This is going to go on a very small little other rant, but also Waze on Android Auto changed their design a little bit to now where all the boxes are black. It almost looks like a Google Maps design, but still has the cartoony background. And it immediately pulls up recent searches, not my favorites. So when I plug in Waze, it's not homework. It was literally like a ski resort in Vermont, a climbing gym in South Jersey. And I'm like, I just want to go to work. like
Yeah.
I do every single day Waze. But anyways, back to Spotify. It's just like, I want to get in my car. I want to be like, oh, these songs I've listened to 1,000 times. I don't want to listen to those. Give me some other genres and curated playlists. I want to go to those and revamp my week.
Yeah, it's Spotify turning into, it's them addressing the same problem every social network has, which is I signed up to follow people and see what they post, not see other random stuff I don't care about. That's Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and all of them are like, but explore other stuff, please. And they're trying to find ways to get people to do that.
It's funny because I would almost argue Spotify does that the best out of some of them, in the sense of when you finish listening to a playlist you have or an album you're listening to or even just a song, it automatically starts playing I've discovered more music through Spotify than I have ever on the radio, ever on YouTube, ever from friends. They did it great. This just feels terrible.
It's a little
I
forced.
hate it. Spotify, I hate this a lot.
I love it for podcasts.
For
Not
podcasts,
music.
cool. If it was a podcast tab and I wanted to like a podcast discovery page, cool. Part of me, my tinfoil hat thing is, it's like, do you know what's better than this? AI Spotify DJ. Then you don't have to look at any of this. Yes.
Chat GPT is all right at making playlists.
Really? Oh, I've
Yeah.
never tried that.
It's you have to you have to battle it a little bit, but you can ask it really cool things like can you find me like hip hop tracks that also have the clarinet in them? And it'd be like, totally.
That's pretty cool.
Whoa.
There's no like third party feature to be like, okay, now make this a Spotify playlist.
That's
And
gonna
then
be
just
a
press
product.
one button.
There
That's
is.
Spotify.
That will be productized.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it with the right prompt, and I think it's called Auto GPT is like
Okay.
a wrapper that gives it web access.
yeah.
Okay.
If you want to unleash something terrifying into the world.
I say do it.
I have a bad feeling that's the next 3 years of our life. So cool. I
All
think
right.
that's
You
enough
wanna
of my
pick-
Spotify rant.
You want to pick the
Sorry.
next headline?
Sure, let's go. Headline hat. I feel like we need like a chant. Headline hat. Headline hat. That was your mic does it way better.
You got to go right on top of the headline.
Apple folder wallet.
Well, this isn't a headline as much as a random thing we recently discovered.
It's an Apple product, so of course there are 50 headlines of it. So
Wait, is
that's
it?
a
It's an
headline.
official Apple product?
No.
No.
Oh,
No. But
It looks like one, though.
yes.
that is so cute.
Did you guys look at this yet?
No.
Or did you see it online?
I saw in the notes Apple folder wallet, and I was like, I knew exactly.
Okay, so
I saw Brandon's video on it.
for audio listeners and people who haven't seen this yet, someone, I believe I have his name here. Hold on. Nick Bentel created a wallet that looks exactly like an untitled folder or any folder, I guess, on Mac OS.
pretty
And
fire.
it's really good. It is like spot on. It can hold 4 to 8 cards or something, 3 to 6 cards. I don't know how many. It's nice, soft. It's great leather. It's hand stitched. It's one of those things where you're like, how did nobody think of this before?
Yeah.
Are you guys looking at Brandon's ID?
All right, so second trivia question. What are all 12 digits of Brandon's?
Driver's license number?
I was going to say credit cards, but I will also accept driver's license or social security.
I was actually going to say this is a pretty cool indicator of how long it's been since Apple's. Well, they've never changed the color of the folder in macOS.
No.
So it's been an iconic light blue color since the beginning, and they haven't changed it, and that allows this physical product to be just as iconic as
Yeah.
that color.
They changed the pitch translation over time. It used to be like slightly leaning forward.
Oh, yeah. Like open a little more.
To like more skeuomorphic stuff, and now it's like flat.
Now it's like, yeah, totally flat.
But like the wallet itself is 2 different shades of blue because the front of it is like highlighted and there's supposed to be a shadow in the background. Like this is a really cool wallet. It's just a little bigger. I mean, for anyone out, I have no idea who this Nick guy is. Brandon ordered it because he saw it and it was cool and he made a video if you want to go look at Brandon's video. But like,
Yeah. Should make a studio video about
this
it.
is one of those things for $50. This is like, this is such a good gift for your Apple nerd.
I don't know how
friends.
it's going to age. That's my only concern is it's so soft.
Bro, your Mac OS folders don't have patina on them?
I'm just shilling for the Trove wallet right now because I've had my
Okay, well, we have to show the Trove wallet because you
I've
have to pay for that
okay,
f***ing
okay.
iPhone.
So I've had the Trove wallet for literally like 4 years, and it looks fantastic.
Yes.
And obviously leather is great, and people love leather wallets, and they patina over time. But this is vegan leather, right? So it's
I think
not
so, yeah.
necessarily going to wear the same way. So that's my only concern. But it is really soft, and if you only have like 4 to 6 cards, like that's great.
It's like a really fun gift.
Only.
I actually would find more people probably buying this to like put on their desk
I don't
somewhere
I don't
or on
have
a
that
shelf.
many cards, but I have other stuff that I end up
Dude.
having to put in my wallet.
You are igniting like a months old argument
Yeah.
between Adam and I. Adam went through and actually bought me a wallet because he hated seeing my fat, full of old
I
gift
don't like
cards
that.
wallet. Like,
Yeah. I only have 2 credit cards, my personal card and the business card. But then I also have to have my ID/driver's license. I have the door key at the studio, which is a card, and the card key for the Tesla, which is a backup in case my phone key doesn't work. Which means I should also have the Rivian one in case that doesn't work too, because sometimes it just doesn't work. And I also realized I have my health insurance card.
And
so I only have 2 credit
You're missing
cards.
the most important card.
What is the most? Oh my! I don't carry my Costco credit
card. You
everywhere.
always have to have your Costco card on you. You never know when a
That's
Costco
fair.
trip could be.
That's fair.
Bro, you're driving down the road and you're just like, I could go for chicken bacon.
So you know what I have? That's fair.
Glizzy.
For the food, really?
$1.50 glizzy?
I have my what I have is I put a Tesla third-party drawer accessory.
Okay.
And I took one of those out and I have it on my kitchen counter, and it's got my like pocket knife, my keys, a pen, a SIM card ejector, paper clip, just like a bunch of basic stuff, and it has my Costco card and things that I use sometimes.
I feel like the Costco card should default in your Rivian because you need that room for the
Tesla
toilet
has
paper.
more, just as much. I don't know. Yeah.
It's not a Costco trip unless the trunk of your truck is overflowing
Completely
with
full.
fun-sized bags of Doritos.
Damn, they sell a 50-gallon drum of Dawn dish soap.
Nothing less.
Need that.
Nothing less.
But yeah, Apple Wallet, great gift.
It's pretty cool.
It looks
How much
pretty
is
cool. $50, but it has a 5-week wait time, so that's a little tough. But I think
That's
$50 for a vegan leather wallet that's like hand stitched.
Order a
is
couple
pretty
now and
solid.
maybe give them out for the holidays.
Solid choice.
Or just get one of the Trove wallets like now.
Yeah, you can get a Trove wallet way faster.
Yeah, just saying.
I definitely didn't put this headline in so we could shill our own product.
I managed to shoehorn that one in
Good
there.
job.
Yeah. I'm a born seller, I guess.
All right. I want to see how many headlines we have. I think we could do one
Or 2 more.
I think we could do one more and then break.
Okay.
Do you want to pick?
I'll pick it, yeah.
Or
And then I'll pick it.
gets less and less ASMR.
Yeah.
That's what the hat sounds like. That is not an effect.
I don't know why I'm looking away. Okay. This one's called Marques Blinds. And it's really because I only wanted to say one thing about blinds, which is that I think I've finally realized one other category of tech product that is just as unreliable as printers, and that is motorized blinds. I didn't realize it
It's
until
the most
recently.
niche hot take I think
It's
that
not
ever
even that hot.
existed.
I have a hotter take for later. We'll get to it.
Oh, okay.
You'll see. It's in there. We'll get to
Is
that
it?
later.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Printers have sucked forever, and I recently had to get one of the motorized shades at home repaired today. And the guy like brought in, he had the new shades. He like unscrewed the old one, put the new one in, and I was like, yeah. So this old one, it never charged. Do you like know what went wrong with it? And he looked me dead in the eyes and he said, sometimes these things just stop working. And he just left. He just walked right out the door. And I was like, okay, great.
I'm just imagining like a mechanic like going up. It's like,
what are you gonna do?
My car's making this weird noise. He's like, eh,
Sometimes they just don't work. That's the way it is,
peace,
man. Yeah.
Get
So
it off my lot.
I had it on Google. I had it on my Google Home for a while, and then that stopped working for no reason. I had a routine where in the morning I'd say, hey, assistant, or whatever your name is.
Google. Hey, Google.
Hey, yeah, I would say that, and I'd say, good morning. And then it would open the shades so that the light comes in. It would start playing the news or whatever, and one by one, it would start opening less and less shades. So at the beginning, it would open the bedroom shades and the downstairs shades, and then I'd go downstairs and 2 of the shades downstairs were open, and then a few weeks later, only one of the downstairs shades were open, and suddenly the bedroom ones stopped opening. I'm like, this is just slowly breaking down.
Just living in perpetual darkness.
Yeah, just like the printers, man. They just get jammed up. We have motorized shades here at the studio. No less than 35% of them are completely broken.
Some are potentially partial.
Impaled by your own sword,
Yeah.
Andrew.
Oh, man.
Karma, baby.
That's what you get for saying it.
Yeah, the shades here, some of them are a little user error. I think once in a while we'll accidentally
What?
put something on the windowsill and it'll hit it. But
Fair.
now there are plenty that have broken just by themselves.
Just
And,
by existing, like
yeah.
a printer.
Like a printer.
like paper jams.
I have two things about this that are both from a bit back, so I probably shouldn't even say them. But whoever. One, I want to make a shirt that says printers suck because I would wear that every day.
Universally true.
I think we could sell that on the shop. Two, you mentioned when you, this just caught me, when you say, hey, G word, good morning. When you say that once, does it stop asking you to say it? Because every morning I say, what's the weather? And it goes, if you'd like to know what your whole morning routine is, say good morning. And I just constantly yell at it to shut up. If I give in one time, will it never ask me to say good morning again? Because that's all I want.
Maybe. I mean, also, if you open the home app on your phone, it's constantly giving you little cards and suggestions of things. And maybe if you just like dismiss all of those,
Can I just block every single one of them for the rest of eternity? I don't care. Just tell me the weather.
So in the morning, it has your routines, and if you go in, you can adjust what phrase it looks for to start the routine. So I can say, "Hey G, how's my day?" or "Hey G, good morning," and both of those start the same routine.
Okay.
I guess if you just ask for something that's part of a routine, it just wants you to go, "Hey, it
really wants you to.
You can do a whole routine with this."
And that I even understand. The other one I wanted to stop ever doing is like, how many cups are in a liter, and it's saying like, if you'd like to convert it, you take this plus this and blah, blah, blah. It's just like, that's what you're for.
Just tell me the
Just
answer.
tell me.
Yeah.
Shut up.
That is fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, blinds suck.
Blinds suck, printers suck, and key cards, they're up there. They're not quite on the level, but they're pretty close.
I'll agree with that. I don't like key cards.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good place to take a break. We'll rant about these things. Before we get too into the weeds, let's do trivia.
Okay, trivia question number 2. Back to the iPhone.
Nice.
So Marques, you bought an original sealed 2007 first gen iPhone for $32,000. You said?
Don't let me forget.
Well,
insane. Not forgetting.
It costs $40,000 with fees and shipping and everything.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The headlines all say $40,000.
Okay, so
my starting bid was $32,000, but I got fleeced.
You thought Ticketmaster fees were bad. Yeah.
Fleeced.
So 40,000. All right. What
They are.
is the model number of that iPhone?
Oh wow!
Wait.
Can this be multiple choice? I'll get it if it's
Wait,
multiple choice.
hold on. Or
I have to confer with
can there
Ellis
be
during the break.
how many digits are there? Characters are there?
It's alphanumeric.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like characters, because there's letters and numbers.
I can't tell you
how many are there. Can we do a how many you get right in the correct order?
Okay, you want to do 1 point per
correct alphanumeric digit.
Yes.
Okay.
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 Cool. One point per correct digit.
I feel like Marques and I have both looked at this number within the last 24 hours.
For sure.
You have to have. That's why I put it there, because your brain probably glossed over it.
I'm hoping that I get that one right. I probably won't, but I'm hoping I do. Andrew's already writing. Just jotting it down in case you forget.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Even though that's the second question.
We'll try to remember.
Okay.
We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Headlines in a Hat. I've got a hat. It's got headlines in it. Andrew, close your eyes and pick one. No, you can't look. You got to pick one at random. I don't want you to be biased and, select
I
one
wrote all of these.
that doesn't deserve to be picked right now. It's got to be fully unbiased.
Okay, this is my favorite one out of all of them.
What does it say?
Apple selling 10-year-old computer for 5,149 pounds.
Yeah.
Did you see that
saw
the other
this
day?
one. This was like immediately I was like, if I bought that and turned around and tried to trade it in, they'd give me $5.
Okay, before we get to there, I have done more research on that part, but let's just go over this. So it's Apple UK store or apple.co.uk. It is a 2013 Mac Pro, the good old trash can, everybody's favorite.
Don't know why it's still listed.
Don't know. 2.7 gigahertz CPU, 64 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte storage, dual AMD GPUs. It's listed at 5,149 pounds, which is approximately $6,400 USD. Fun fact, this computer can't even run the latest version of Mac OS.
Jesus. Why are you selling this, Apple? Why?
Do you want to? The only thing I can find people on Reddit is like potentially they're hoping there's some businesses out there that still run on these computers because businesses hate to upgrade.
Don't.
And that maybe they need to replace something that fits the same
Oh my God.
But that is like a stretch.
That's my least favorite thing when businesses are like, oh, well, all of our infrastructure runs on this and we don't want to change it. So we need more of the old thing.
In 2015, I worked for an IT company, and in our office, half of the computers were running Windows XP.
Yeah. That's
So,
just the
yeah.
way it is. It's just
It's
the way
wild.
it is. It
Well, in
costs them
2015, it was still supported.
It was still supported,
Technically.
but it was not the latest.
Yeah.
We were also on 7 and 10 was out, but yeah.
Yeah, in the off chance that there's an individual human looking at this listing, like, that seems like a lot of computer for $6,000. I'm telling you right now, bro, do not buy this computer. Do not buy this computer. And even more interesting is this is refurbished, which means
It's also refurbished.
Which means they got it back from someone and probably paid that person like $100. And I'm not exaggerating, like $100.
Okay, so in terms of the trade-in value of this, have any of you looked at the link that I posted? Okay. Can you all make a guess? I want you all to guess how much, if you were to return this. So you have to enter in a serial number. I entered in a serial number of one we have. We still have the case of it.
Yeah.
And then put in all the exact specs that this says.
Yeah. So 2.7 gigahertz, that's like a 8-core, 16-core,
I don't know
12-core?
exactly. It was-
I don't know.
I don't know much about these. These
Some
are a little
Intel
before my
multi-core Xeon processor, 64 gigs of workstation RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, and dual AMD GPUs. I assume maybe the high-end ones. They're selling it now refurbished 10 years later for $6,400. So we're picking in US dollars here.
You're picking if you took this thing, US dollars, if you traded in this thing that you just spent 6,400 US on.
Right now, in perfect condition, they'd give me $600.
Okay.
My answer is they will offer to recycle it for me.
I think it'll be
Ellis?
less. I'm adjusting my guess, actually. $400.
400, Ellis?
I think Apple would spit on you and offer to do it in your mouth, to be kind.
When I traded in the Intel Mac Pro that we got more recently,
Far more
for
recently.
more money, it gave me $700, right? Less than the value of a new iPhone. I tweeted it.
I forgot about
It was like under the value of a $900 iPhone.
right.
So I can't imagine they gave this person anywhere near
Before you click on the link, when I click the trade-in program, it says what kind of, is it an Apple device or other? You click Apple, it says, is it a like iPhone, laptop, desktop, and something else? And all of those have it's like up to prices next to them. The desktop computer one was up to $1,249, I think. So that's the
They
maximum
won't give
we're
you more than
potentially getting.
$1249 for any desktop Mac.
That's what it said there. I didn't try it with anything else.
If I had like a
I can-
40, Jesus. Yeah, that's rough. Like
If you
GameStop.
want to look at how much it actually traded in for, I put a link in the so you
clicking
can
it.
without spoiling it.
I was right.
Based on what you've told us, your Mac is ready to recycle. While it doesn't qualify for a gift card, just send it to us and we'll recycle it for free.
Just send it to us and we'll sell it online for 5,100 pounds.
We'll recycle it to the next guy for $5,000 for free.
Okay, I just want to make sure I have this right. So this is a Mac Pro trash can
Yeah.
with a 2.7 gigahertz 12-core processor.
Okay. Yeah.
It has 1 terabyte SSD. It has 64 gigabytes of RAM.
Yep.
Does this one have the dual 6 gigabyte graphics cards? Okay. How much do you think, refurbished with a year warranty, it goes for on eBay?
On eBay,
$1,200.
Okay.
$800.
On eBay right now, buy it now. This is not an auction. It's going for $710.10.
I was close. Not by Price is Right rules, but I was close.
The depreciation goes so hard on
That's
this.
rough.
Wow.
with free shipping.
And it will burn itself to the ground within a year.
It will fry
Guaranteed.
both of those GPUs.
Yeah, those GPUs may or may not be toast already.
But yeah, that was too fun not to talk about. When the way it just so nicely is like,
Or recycle it for you for free.
it's
for free.
It's ready to recycle.
Let us take it off your hands. It's like GameStop where you're like, here's my entire collection. I'm ready to move on from video games. Please change my life. And they're like, best I can do is $22.
They like tip the take a penny, leave a penny jar at you for your.
Apple
I can't-
actually figured out a way to sell a computer for $8,000 and then 10 years later sell the same computer for $6,000.
They can double dip.
The second round of that computer too, because it's refurbished.
Yeah, that's incredible. Please don't buy that computer. Please.
Please, no one ever buy that computer.
don't buy
Let's
that
check back in 5 years and see if that's still up to on a listing on Apple.co.uk.
Adding it to the calendar
Adding.
in 5 years.
All right, back to headline
Just buy
hat.
6 Mac Minis instead.
Headline hat. There's 2 left. I know one you are not going to care about at all, so I'm kind of nervous with picking that one.
Let's see it. The one I got says Polestar 4.
Okay.
It says Polestar 4, and this is the one I do have thoughts on.
Yes.
Maybe a potentially hot take. So there was an article recently. We just got to see the Polestar 4's like final design and specs. It's not going on sale till 2024. At least that's when it's planned to be on sale, the end of 2024.
It's considered the 2025 Polestar, but it says it should be releasing late 2024.
We'll see about that. But the idea
exactly.
is it's a crossover SUV, so it's bigger than a Polestar 2. They will have rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options, and they're targeting over 300 miles of range. Expected baseline price is around $60,000, and it looks fire. I've been a fan of the way Polestars look for a while. I kind of had this like semi-warm take on Waveform a few weeks ago, which is like top 4 EVs I would buy today. After Tesla, it's Taycan, e-tron, Polestar. Rivian and e-tron are interchangeable, but I really like the Polestar, over pretty much everything else.
I agree. My only issue with the Polestar 2, the numbers are kind of confusing me sometimes. The Polestar 2 is the one that we tested out, right?
Yeah, so Polestar 2 is
It's
the
like kind of a
sedan hatchback small crossover thing.
It's like it's like the crossover of a sedan and a crossover.
Right.
I don't know. I think the shape. I do like how it looks from the side. It's a little too big for a sedan, and a little too small for a crossover. Where this is a crossover, this looks so good. Yeah. I am in love with how this looks. It's sharp. It's angular. The headlights on the front are almost like a split in half sideways T on both sides, and just look like lights. Oh. Every angle of this looks fantastic.
It's got Urus vibes the more I look at the headlights.
Yeah, it's way more like the front of it is way more aggressive and diagonally like at the front. I'm not explaining very well, but it is a banger car.
It is a banger. I love this design. I also like the back, and I've liked this about Polestars for a while. They've got this bar taillight. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got nice big
interior
yellow
looks
brakes.
great.
Interior looks nice. It's got yellow seat belts, which are polarizing, but I love it. It's got a center console that's like not too crazy. I want to actually get to drive it because I want to see how much of this is all on-screen controls with Android Automotive versus maybe a few switches. We'll see. But maybe the weirdest thing about it, I mean, it's got nice specs, like we said, 300 miles of range, 200 kilowatt charging, 100 kilowatt hour battery. The weirdest thing about it is that it doesn't have a rear window, and it's a straight up SUV. Like it's got space.
It's there.
So
it looks like it has a cutout for it.
Yeah, but it's
it just
blacked out.
doesn't.
It's
Yeah.
blacked out, and instead it has a camera built in. So there's a camera on the back that points backwards, and you can view the feed from the camera in the cockpit.
In the rear view mirror, yeah.
And so instead, if you're sitting in the back seat, they kind of have this like solar system type vibe going on, where it's not a sunroof or a moonroof. It's just it's covered.
Yeah, the way they said it is it gives passengers a new kind of immersive rear occupant experience. What is that? Dark?
Sounds like a cop out. I don't know what that means.
It's weird. I don't know about this one.
I think I read
What's the
something
unique
about
experience?
Latency.
adjustable ambient lighting that adds an extra dimension to the interior, inspired by the solar system, allows the driver to customize the driving environment.
Bro, it's gonna glow blue. No one cares.
It's gonna have little lights like a Rolls Royce.
You think it's gonna have like the like stars? But it's not even above you. It still has a panoramic roof, so that's like it's like still behind your head.
Yeah, above and behind you a little bit.
And here's the thing: if you're the passenger, you can like turn around and look at some cool like LEDs or fiber optics like in the
yeah. I've never sat in one of these vehicles with the stars over the head. My hot take though is that camera mirrors are the future. Let's get rid of regular mirrors. We don't need them anymore.
There is one thing, and it's very niche on that. I was wondering if you can't do anymore. Is like there are times when you have a child in the backseat, a pet in the backseat, where like you take your rearview mirror and like angle it down for a quick second to see like what's going on. Did my soda spill? Is it like rolling around in the back seats? Like is my kid kicking the backseat? Like what's happening? So like you can't do that now. There are tons of them that just have the rear view mirror is just a display
Yep.
and it's showing out of a camera. Else there is latency. I'm assuming we're probably close enough to where it's not that big of a deal.
Minimal latency. I mean, I've
Yeah.
driven a few of these GM vehicles that have like the switchable one now. So like if you
Yeah.
drive the Lyric or the Hummer or something from GM, it's got a rear view mirror that you can turn on to be a display.
Yeah.
And you can actually change the direction it points, how wide or narrow the angle is. Like it's much more customizable than you'd expect. And so I find that I don't need the regular mirror anymore.
Yeah, I there are a lot of also where like the rear view camera is in, like when you're backing up only, then it goes to display and then it goes to a regular mirror.
Yeah.
The only like frayed wire, now you have no rear view mirror.
Well, this will always be true about any electronic solution to a physical
Exactly,
problem.
yeah.
Snow, maybe blocks the camera. There's always going to be little things
True.
that may be annoying.
It is
about
much easier to clear snow off a camera than an entire back
an
windshield,
entire back
though.
window. True. What if you
Yeah.
got a bunch of boxes in the trunk? Then you got to have some way to see through.
Yes.
Like the camera's going to be better.
Fair.
So
I've definitely packed way too much in the trunk before.
it just feels like if a car is a computer on wheels, when I zoom out enough, it just feels like old school to be like, yeah, I'm driving a computer on wheels, but also like I need like these reflections and mirrors to be a certain way so I can see around me. It's like, well, I can just have the car tell me what's around
Do you think
me.
those side view mirrors should be?
That's a tougher one. I do think
Well,
that,
I mean, we're driving a computer on the road. Why do we need these old school?
By that logic, yes.
Okay.
I think I am more trained to look in a different place though, because those are mirrors outside the car and my brain is trained to check that spot.
There also runs the opportunity of it's way more common that those would get messed up because they're outside the car versus inside the car, and that's way more expensive to
Well, that's
replace
why
a screen versus
You got to
a mirror.
move that inside the car. So I think I've seen a couple concept cars. I don't think this is shipped in the US or anywhere near us yet, but where instead of being outside the car, there's a camera there and then the screen is like in the door.
Yeah.
So you do have to train your mind to check a different spot. Where the rear view mirror is in the same spot as it always is, and you don't have to train your mind to check a different spot, but it's just a camera feed now.
Yeah.
This is a little extra work to train yourself to check a different spot, but it's better.
Does the Ioniq not have both? Where it's a mirror, but also has the camera under the mirror for parking sensors. But
Yeah,
when you turn your left blinker on the screen in front of you, there's a little video box to check your blind spot.
A lot of cars do that, yeah.
That's really cool. I like
Yep.
that.
Yeah,
Thi-
check
I
your
feel like
blind spot.
this car needs that because the blind spots you're going to have in a no rear view mirror, big pillar,
Oh, yeah.
crossover visibility with a slanted back like that is already tough.
I think it's got cameras in all the places to
Okay.
cover you fully. So one on the mirror, one on the front, right above like the wheel arch pointing backwards into your blind spot. Like it should have you totally covered and it should be able to show you things on the screen. But that's the thing is like, I don't think we need mirrors anymore.
Okay. No more mirrors.
It's going to require some brain training.
I love how much this car looks. The front end of this car might be one of the nicest looking EVs.
Do you say Urus or Urus?
I say
I
say whatever won't rip me apart in the comments.
That's a cop out.
It is.
You got to pick one.
I need this
How
one.
do you say Porsche's EV name?
Oh,
I just submit myself to
Taycan.
saying I just say Taycan and
Taycan.
whatever happens to
Taycan.
me happens to me. But Polestar
we'll
4,
go down together. Yeah.
good name. I want to check it out because this might be my second favorite EV behind the R1S when it comes out.
Oh,
I'm thinking it might be that good. We'll see.
I like it.
We'll see.
I think that 300 miles of range will be
Pretty
will be
important.
big.
Yeah, they've got to hit that target, and it's going to be 2 years later. So the Rivian, who knows what's going to be out by then. But
I also wonder if the 300 miles is on the all-wheel drive or only the rear wheel.
the way they phrase it really
Makes me-
sets them up to be, we're going to have a rear-wheel drive 300-mile
Yep.
version, and we're going to have an all-wheel drive, faster performance, 270-something
Yep.
mile version.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. There's one more left. This is
No,
sorry.
It's
I
headline
wonder
and a
what I
hat.
could pick. I wrote all of these, and
It's-
there's only one left, and it's the one I'm the most embarrassed to talk about. So
Headline in a hat. Now it's out the hat.
Whoa. Oh my God. Netflix streaming atrocity is what I put down.
Please explain.
Did any of you guys see this weekend? Okay.
Oh, I saw this on Twitter.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
tried to-
Yeah, I
was
saw it on
definitely
Twitter, but I
okay.
didn't watch it live.
So, embarrassingly enough,
Well, no one did, but
I watched Love is Blind. If none of you guys know about that show, very popular show, one of Netflix's biggest reality shows.
Give me the 3-sentence elevator pitch for what that is.
A group of men and a group of women get in these pods where they can't see each other, and they go on a bunch of dates, and by the end of the like 10 days they have to propose, and then they live together if they propose and accept it, and then they get married at the end of it, all in like a very short amount of time.
10 days and then propose to someone you've never seen? That's how do you
Is love blind?
Do you win? Oh, I get it.
You win by getting a free wedding, I guess.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and a bunch of airtime where millions of people around the world judge you relentlessly
For sure.
for you being
For sure.
trapped in a pod and probably wasted.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's a very, very popular show. This is their 4th season. And Netflix, a streaming website, but not live streaming, they just stream.
Mm-hmm.
They've tried this once before, I think, with a Chris Rock special. But for the second time, at the end of all of these, they do a reunion where the 2 hosts get all of the cast members. And by the time it takes to release, it's been probably a year since they've had
how's
their
your marriage
weddings.
going?
Exactly. How's everything going? Are you still together? Exactly. I'm
Hunger
embarrassed to say
Games-esque.
that I like how
I can
much I
see how
enjoy this show.
It's like you can't. It's like a train wreck. You just gotta watch it.
Oh, pretty much.
I get it.
So Sunday, 8 p.m. is when the live reunion is supposed to happen on Netflix. 7:55, I get on. I click the thing, and there's this weird loading screen, and it's not going. I'm like, I'll just wait till 8. 8 o'clock hits, loading. Won't get past like 90% loading. So I go on Twitter, search Love is Blind latest, and hundreds of comments. Where is it? What's happening? Is it not working for anyone else? And like 5 minutes of scrolling. I've never seen the latest search in Twitter just refresh so much. It's like you swipe down to refresh, and do you know how it like shows where on the side your like slider is? It's like
buries
3/4 down the page. There's like 400 comments every minute. I'm refreshing, trying to figure this out. And then eventually Netflix comes out with like a statement on Twitter, like, we're going to be 15 minutes late. Like, Love is blind and love is also late. We're going to be 15 minutes late. Ha, look how smart we are. Like, don't worry, we've got this figured out. If you had to guess how long it took for this show to start, what would you guys get? Netflix, biggest streaming site in the world.
Darling of Silicon Valley.
Darling of Silicon Valley.
Netflix was an hour late.
More. Not much more.
Was it 24 hours late?
No, it was like an hour, 20, hour and a half late.
Dang. I mean, that's not a disaster.
That's
Did it at least
terrible.
work when it did stream?
On a Sunday night, too. Okay, funny you asked that. Yes, but pretty poorly. Ellis, I want you to listen. I want you to watch it because the microphones in this were it was some of the worst audio I've ever heard. It was just constant, like, on every single person's microphone, like all these glitchy noises that clearly weren't working. There was one point where the host had to stop everyone talking because one of the producers was live in their headset, I guess. And they were like, who's that talking? What was that? Wait,
So
we
do
have
you
to
think
pause
that
for
we
a second.
should,
I think we can hear
ask
all you
them-
guys.
Should we do? You mean like
Pretty
that?
much that, like that, and the host had to stop doing, and like
God.
you also just take a bunch of. I mean, this isn't a production issue or Netflix, but like, why would you go live with a bunch of people who are on a weird reality show for like 2 weeks and have no PR training or like know how to do any of this live? It was just
would have been
super awkward. And
based on what I've heard about
horrible
the show
quality.
and how popular it is, this would have been a pretty banger YouTube live stream, but it's a Netflix property, so they're never going to do
Funny
that.
enough, they had to go live on Instagram to like calm everyone down for a while because it was
my
taking
God.
so long to go live on Netflix.
That's hilarious.
It was really bad. It just like, I can't believe they did such a poor job at it. I get why they want to do it live because they want to try and be like, this is the reunion. We're not cutting any of the drama out. Like, you're gonna get all the live takes
want
and the people who are mad and broke up and stuff
The
like
moment, the cultural moment.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not. The cultural moment was Netflix has no idea what they're doing when it comes
That's
to
actually
live
funny,
streaming. Yeah.
The cultural moment now is, Netflix sucks at live things. Got it.
Yes.
Got
Don't
it.
ever do this again.
Noted.
I want to throw out there, I'm going to watch this so I know exactly what happened, but every single like grumpy 50-year-old man who works in sports broadcasting is laughing so
Really?
hard.
I'm sure.
Dude, because that stuff is so complicated.
Yeah.
It's like those are such complicated productions, and I feel like we don't appreciate it until someone goes for it and is like,
Those
Yeah.
Those people are still sleeping off that night right now. It's Wednesday and they're still stressed out about what happened. They probably just left the office.
No
It
one
was-
is immune to the stress of live production.
It really is true. I just thought Netflix would be able to do a little better with that much money and resources and everything.
because like they don't do live stuff very often at all.
It was
Like,
a rude awakening.
I would be surprised if a site that does live, like if Twitch or YouTube had that much of an issue, I'd be more surprised.
yeah.
But
Sure.
I think this was such a huge new thing for Netflix to do a big popular live stream that they weren't ready for it.
Yeah,
I
they
know.
just kept saying we killed the internet or stuff like that. It's like, no, you guys just royally messed. You clearly have the bandwidth for it. You just messed this up real bad.
I mean, I get it's not like Apple or Google or Amazon or SpaceX or like any of these other huge tech companies do live streams ever. You know, it's like, so like, come on.
Yeah. That's like Apple actually does an incredible job with live streams. Like a really good job.
Yeah, they do.
Also, the most viewed concurrent YouTube live stream I've ever seen was a SpaceX launch. Had 2 million concurrent viewers on a rocket.
I wonder if I could quickly find out.
I wonder how many people were trying to watch this show at once. Or maybe I would give them a break if these numbers like dwarf anything Twitch has ever seen.
It says 6.5 million ultimately watched the Love is Blind reunion, but that doesn't necessarily.
Ultimately or live?
It says ultimately watch the Love is Blind
Because
reunion.
if it was available for VOD after,
it's VOD after for sure.
then
I think
you could easily total 6 million after.
exactly, and I think a lot of people probably watched it the next day because like this is Sunday night at 8:00. It didn't start till 9:30. It didn't end till like 11:30. Like
I'm fairly sure
That
the first
sucks.
hour of a Mr. Beast video, 6 million people are all watching it at the same time.
for sure.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you tried Netflix. You try, you live, you learn. You'll figure it out for the next
You'll
one.
get them next time, champ.
Maybe ask some advice for some other tech companies that do live stuff. Maybe there's a few out there. I don't know. You might be around some. No, yeah, that's about it. The hat is empty.
The hat is empty.
The hat is empty. Shout out to the Publish Press
Colin
hat.
and Samir.
Colin and Samir hat.
Yeah.
This is what we use merch for. We got sweet ideas. It has to be this hat every time now that we've named
Yes.
this segment. But that does it for the lightning rounds. And for this week, I think we have nothing left but to do the trivia answers. And then maybe get David to FaceTime in and answer those himself.
All right. So question number 1, let's get into it, boys. Marques bought well, that's question number 2. Nice one. Let's get into it, boys. $32,000 is a lot of money to pay for an old iPhone. What was the final price of the most expensive Apple product ever sold at auction? And if you want to try to guess the product, I'll give you a bonus point too. Why not?
Okay. Sure. Also, just a reminder, Marques paid $40,000 for it.
I'm really hoping the answer is someone got fleeced way more than I did. That's my real hope.
Price is Right rules totally change how I answer this.
That's a fair.
I like
that's
it.
fair. Yeah.
Ready?
Flip them around.
Interesting.
All right.
50,000.
I feel like both of us are kind of low. I said 150,000.
Okay.
I said 228,000 for an Apple Lisa.
That part is incorrect, but you still get the point.
Oh, it was an Apple One, obviously.
Andrew?
I was gonna say Apple. I didn't write anything down, so
Okay.
I get it wrong. I was gonna say Apple One, but I also was way too embarrassed to just totally mess up the product name and get roasted. So
Why'd I
I
say
wrote nothing.
What was the actual number?
The-
So we can know if David beats us.
Can I tell you what I was gonna answer if there was no over?
Yes.
1.2.
$1.2?
No, million.
Joking. Those
We
two
were over.
dimes, bro.
That is a real fleece right there.
So just for clarity, there are only 200 Apple Ones made.
Oh wow.
I think we only know about 80 that are still around. This one was hand-steined by Steve Wozniak, and it's confirmed to have come like from his garage. It sold at auction for $905,000.
I hate that. I'm
would've
mad
been
you guessed
closer.
that. My thought process was, I want to guess 1.2, but I think that's going to be too high, and I think Marques is going to guess $1 million. So I want to be under with this. I played myself.
I knew it was the Apple One too. I just got it.
Yeah,
I would have been pretty close. 900,000.
905,000.
Okay.
And it was
All right.
in Michigan, so I don't know what that tax looks like, but
I hope it's an extra 20 grand just for fun.
Okay, so second question. Marques, you bought an original 2007 first gen iPhone
Yeah.
for $40,000, which we're going to keep reminding you. What is the model number? Multiple choice. Model A A1203, B, A0120, C, A1012, or D, A0322.
I hate how confident I am with this. And I'm going to be very sad when I get it wrong.
Ooh, the confidence.
Oh, I'm so torn.
What helped me is I had 5 digits that I wrote down previously when I didn't know it was multiple choice, and only one of those was missing. So,
Same.
And it was in none of the answers. The extra digit I thought was in none of the answers. So this is the closest to what I had before.
All right, flip them and read.
A.
Yeah, I have A.
Okay.
Correct.
I
A.
wrote down A1703.
I wrote down
reason.
A13025, I think. I had 6 when I first wrote
Right,
it. So
but
the
the five was
the
extra.
5 was extra.
Okay. Dang. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't get that wrong. I was almost gonna pick D. I circled D and I was like,
I knew A0 was wrong. I knew it was A. The minute you said A1, I was like, that's definitely right.
That's why I tried to put 2.
Yeah.
All right, now in the magic of editing, we're going to magically have David here, hopefully, to answer.
where are you? What is your approximate elevation right now?
0,
No way.
I think. Yeah, 0.
It looks like you're in the clouds.
I'm
wrong.
very surprised at how well the service is doing right now. We were very worried about that. Well, we
I
also
have
thought you were going to be
maxed out-
driving.
I have maxed out 4G, baby. Maxed out.
This is pretty cool.
There's a cell tower
Iceland.
somewhere in the distance there. That's pretty cool. All right. Well, we've got trivia questions.
Oh, right. Trivia.
I like
Trivia.
David David doesn't see any of us. He's looking at just the camera. I can see the little thing down there. This has got to be kind of weird.
We've got trivia for you.
Okay.
Here, you can write on it.
So Andrew and I have already answered, so we know what the answers are, and we're gonna live react to your answers.
You're not allowed
Okay,
to ask that
I'm
guy
ready.
behind you.
All right, David. Question number 1. 32,000. Excuse me. Marques spent $40,000 on an iPhone. What was the final price of the most expensive Apple product ever sold at auction? And it's Price is Right rules, so closest without going over.
Oh.
Also, bonus point if you guess the product.
Thank you.
$1.6 million. And wow.
How's that feel in Iceland?
Was that too high?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was $905,000.
I guess I should have guessed lower.
And what do you think
Damn.
the item was?
Steve Jobs sandals.
Straight to feet.
Bummer.
Bro, those
Straight
would
to
have been
feet, no
1.6
provocation.
million. If those were sold, those would be 1.6.
They were sold. They were sold recently.
Wait, what?
They were, but they're not an Apple product.
Oh yeah, fair. His
Yeah.
Birkenstocks.
Okay, second question.
Oh,
It's kind
they
of
were-
gross, to be honest.
Wait,
it's pretty
wait,
gross,
wait.
to be
Just to
honest.
say, Marquez, your answer was almost exactly right on
That's
what
the
Steve
article.
Jobs Birkenstocks sold for 218,000.
Wow.
Oh,
Crazy.
yeah.
This is disgusting.
All right.
Did you guys get it right? Did you guys get it right?
So
Marquez got the closest.
I ended up getting the closest. My answer was an Apple Lisa, which was wrong. It was an Apple One, and the product. And my guess was 280,000, which was Price is Right, closer than Andrew's 100.
I went really low because
Wow.
my guess was 1.2 million, but I didn't want to go over, which I would have. So I guessed really low instead.
So I literally could have guessed 500,000 and got it right.
Yes.
Damn.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Or 400.
Well,
Unfortunately,
Or
that's the
300.
disadvantage of being very far away.
All right.
Fair.
Second question is multiple choice. So we've been reminding Marquez this whole episode that he bought an iPhone for $40,000, a 2007 first gen iPhone. What is the model number? So is it A, model A1203, B, A0120, C, A1012, or D, A0322?
B.
Oh,
So you think B, model A0120?
Yeah.
Wrong.
Else is ready for that one.
Immediately.
It was What is it? A1.
A1203.
I keep nodding like you can see me, but
I should have known it would be 1 because 0 would be like alpha, like pre-release.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
thanks
dumb.
for playing all the way in
Well,
Iceland for
I didn't,
0
I
points.
didn't think well enough.
you're in the most beautiful place ever, though.
Yeah, you win some, lose some. You know,
That's true. That's true.
win some,
That's
meaning
okay.
you get to be in Iceland. Lose some, no points this week.
Meaning you're still winning trivia.
I should have thought harder.
Well, anyway,
Thank you, David. You look
Thank
like
you,
you're doing
David.
something way more fun than this.
We appreciate you.
Bye.
That's
Can you
been
just
it for
close the
Waveform
laptop?
this week. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Oh, wait. We have something to give Andrew that Mariah printed out. So if you guys remember, last week's trivia question was about screenshotting on Windows.
Oh, no.
Mariah
I just want
printed
you to say-
something out and wanted me to give this to Andrew
I'm
on
terrified
the
of
pod.
this. My mom texted me on Friday saying, Windows Shift S. I actually knew that. Like, I have never been torn apart more
Got him.
than me not knowing about this. She printed the text message my mom sent me. It's me saying Happy Easter and her saying Windows Shift S. I actually knew that. Thanks, Mom. Way to embarrass me.
That's a top
I'm
moment
just
on the
kidding.
pod for
Yep,
sure.
I will never live that down for
We
the
love
rest
that.
of my life.
Okay, now we're officially wrapping it for this week. David, hopefully we'll be back next week and we'll all be doing trivia in the same place. Until then, catch you guys later. Peace.
Waveform is produced by Adam Molina and Ellis Rovin. We're partnered with Vox Media Podcast Network, and our intro-outro music was created by Vane Sill.